How's it going, my fellow Homo sapiens? This is your boy Uzumaki Hado, and this is a DevPro Deck review. This is a deck I've been playing on DevPro for a little while, and I am enjoying this deck. It's really awesome compared to a lot of other decks I'm running. So let's go ahead and jump right into what this deck is. I call it Anti-World. Basically what it is anti-meta mixed together with Dark World. And believe it or not, it works nicely. So let's see what we have. We have 3 Greffers of the Dark World. Basically, you know what he does. He blows up 1 card on the field, and you can keep special summon him out the graveyard as long as you have a Dark World monster on the field. It's not really to get into depth with. He's a beater. He's a 2700, and if you got the field card on the field, he's at 3000. We got Snow. Snow's our searcher from the deck. He searches out all the Dark World cards, plain and simple. We got Brow. Brow helps, once again, to get Greffers out the graveyard. And not just that, he's an extra draw card. If you discard it with your opponent card effect, you draw 2. You discard it with your card effect, you only draw 1. But still, it's an extra draw card. I'm having this one in. Right now, he's just kind of filling in a spot, seeing how it works. I want to have a little more Dark Worlds in there. And right now, he's actually working out. When this card is discarded from your hand, you can special summon him out the graveyard. And basically, that's what I've been using him for. He's just a filler for the time being. I don't know if I'm going to replace him at the moment. But right now, he haven't clogged the hand. He has just helped the deck so far. So right now, he's good in there. Then we come to the Malefic monsters. We got 3 Malefic Stardust. Basically, when this card is on the field, your opponent cannot destroy field cards, or field cards cannot be destroyed. One good thing about this card is he's a 2500 beater. Other good thing about it is he has 2000 defense. Now, the bad thing about this card is when a Malefic monster is on the field, you can only have 1, and not just that, he can only be the only monster to attack if he's on the field, unless you negate his effect. The next Malefic monster we have is Cyber End Dragon, a 4000 beater. Not just that, 2800 defense. This card right here wins games. Your opponent summons a whole bunch of monsters or whatever. You drop this 4000 beater on the field, and you just look in their eyes and see pure fear. This beast right here is not easy to get over. Then we have our tour guide. 3 tour guides, and basically our targets for tour guides is Brow himself. This is your special summoning engine. This allows you to summon tour guides so you can exceed into some nice monsters, some nice 3-stars, or just to get Brow on the field to special summon Greff out the graveyard. That's basically what she's there for. Or also good defense. You know, you get another Brow on the field, exceed for let's say why not Zemani, and just sit on it for a little while for defense, or we could go for someone else. My next person I have in here is Beast King Barbaros. Once again, this is a anti-meta deck mixed with Dark Worlds. Basically, this card is 1900 attack if you summon him without tribute, and if you tribute for him, he comes out at 3000 beater. However, it's a way to get around that. If you negate his effect, he comes out, and you do not tribute, he comes out as a 3000 beater on the field. This normal summon, it's just madness. So he's really good. I got him at 3. The next card we have is Dark World Dealings. Basically, it's a draw card. Get your Greffer in the graveyard, blow something up, get your Snow in the graveyard, search, maybe your Brow in the graveyard, and draw extra card. And not just that, it messes with your opponent's hand also. Dark World, or the Gates of Dark World. Basically, it's a draw card. Not just that, it gives all your Fiend monsters an extra 300 attack. So basically, I think a lot of people know what this card does. Tour Guide gets it. Basically, everybody gets it except people like the Malefic monsters and Beast King Barbaros. 1 Dark Hole. Now, here's where I get the little mix into my own type of tech. Coliseum. This card is just so great in so many decks. It's just so good to be a common. Basically what this card do is your opponent cannot have more monsters than you have. You got 1, they can only have 1. So basically what I'm going to do is either get Greffer on the field or get Cyber End Dragon, 4000 beat on the field. Then I'm going to drop that shit and just sit there. Oh, you're going to summon over me? I mean, hopefully you have an honest. So that's basically what these two cards is. It wins games. You know, I don't need to summon a field full of monsters. I have nothing but beaters. So if you get rid of one, I'm going to special summon something else. This is why this card is so good. Then we have Vein of Emptiness. Basically, it negates monsters from special summoning. Plain and simple. Now you're like, well, you do a lot of special summoning. Does that hurt you? Well, actually, no. Because when I want to get rid of this, I can play something like this. This right here gets rid of it. Plain and simple. So it works with my deck. It doesn't hurt me at all. I haven't came into a point where I'm like, oh man, I really need to get rid of this card. Because usually my opponent is going to destroy a card. Next is 3 skill drains. Basically, skill drain is just so great in this deck. I mean, it works with Grepher. It works with Malefic monsters. So they can, you know, attack with other monsters on the field. And the other monsters can attack. Beast King Brabros come out at 3,000. The card is so good. And you said, well, what about Tour Guide? Well, if I have this on the field, I don't need to summon Tour Guide. I can use it for something like Dark World Dealings or Gates of Dark World. Now, here's another one of my tech mistake. I love this card. It's so good. At first, I had it at 2. I felt like it was just too much. But having it at 1 is just great. A lot of people search things from the deck. A lot of people go to the deck to get stuff. And when you flip this card, it's like, oh my god. Because usually, when they go through the deck, they're going to go through the deck and plus like hell. And sometimes they be hurt and you just flip it and it's like, oh my god. And usually, I use this when I have a handful of stuff. Like, once I have these beaters in hand, I'm good. I can sit back. I don't need to draw a lot of cards. I can sit back with this on the field, have this on the field, have this on the field, have Coliseum on the field. What are you going to do? You're going to need a Heavy Storm, and that card is banned right now. So that's just the basics for this. And last but not least, 2 Mirror Force. Some more defense for the back row. I was going to use some other traps, but I chose not to at the moment. I want to keep it kind of limited on traps. So far we have 23 monsters, 9 spells, and 8 traps. We have it on the monsters because we definitely want to get the monsters out. The traps is always usually continuance, and the spell cards I have is usually continuance. Now, let's go to the extra deck. Our extra deck is 3 Stardust, 4-Eye, Malefic Stardust Dragon. We have 3 Cyber End Dragons. And this is the basic engine. Right now, I'm kind of using Steelstorm Roach. I'll take him out for something else. You know, these guys here. Detach tribute monsters from your hand or whatever to blow up the same number of cards on the field. Now, for my side deck, I don't have ready yet. This is just some random jank I threw down here. But the main cards I'm most likely going to keep in this side deck is my Mistakes, my Dark Smogs, my Effect Bailers, this Coliseum, Vein of Emptiness, and my Forbidden cards. Now, let's think about this. This deck doesn't seem really fast when it comes down to draw power. And yes, that is a con about this deck. Now, a second con about this deck is sometimes these cards right here, the Malefics, will kind of clog your hand if you don't have your skill drains on the field. Now, a lot of decks these days are playing field cards. So that kind of works out, especially with a lot of new Gravekeeper support coming out. There's going to be a lot more field cards in the game. So I feel like these cards here is going to be really, really good in the near future. Now, some of the pros of this deck is you always have a beater. These beaters come out and they're very hard to get over. The only decks I really played against that could get over these beaters is things like Bujin. They have those cards where you can play Crow or something of that nature to double the attack. And that's how they get over these. But besides that, there's not a lot of decks that can get over a 4,000 beater really, really easy. So this is a first expression, first look at my deck that I'm working on. I actually might build this in real life. I'm actually running Bujins right now in real life. But right now, I'm thinking of converting to this. I mean, more Bujin support is coming out, and Bujins is going to be my main deck, but I would like to have a deck that I can fall back on. I like control. I like to have my opponent. I like to know what my opponent's going to play. So basically, this is my deck build. And next, I'm going to show you this deck in action. Hey, how's it going, my fellow Homo sapiens? This is your boy Uzumaki Do, and this is Anti-Worlds versus 6 Sims. So let's get this party started. I start off with Malefic Stardust, and I set Brow. That's right, I set Brow. Okay. He goes straight for legendary 6 Sim Xian. 2500, 1400 defense. Ooh! He just warned me. I took 2,000 life. He took 2,000 life points. And there we go with Siren End Dragon 4,000 attack on the field. Take that, bitch. I have set a Mirror Force. Right now, I'm feeling pretty damn confident about myself with one card in my hand. Okay, he has just summoned a fleet of 6 Sims, and there they all go away. Goodbye. Yes, sir, this is game. Special summon Grepher. I attack with the 4,100 beater Siren End Dragon. He is now at 500 life points. He sets, he's hoping that I'm not going to attack him. He's probably begging in his mind, there's no way in hell that I'm not swinging. Get that shit off my field. Thank you. He has no cards in hand to my 3 cards in hand. I have Stardust, Malefic Stardust, Grepher, and Bronze, or whatever you pronounce his name. Now I have just ripped into a skill drain. And it doesn't matter because he took 4,000 to the face. This was Anti-Worlds versus 6 Sims. I'm Uzumaki Do, and thanks for watching.